Painkiller already? 242. Hey, before we start, I have a quick thing to say.
Not Painkiller already. Painkiller nearly.
Thank you for that.
Honestly, 243 out of 244, really good rate to not mix up.
The show's a day late, and it's me this time, but it was so... Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for moving the show. I wasn't going to. Here's what happened. We did a special thing for Colin. It's his birthday 2 weeks from now, and we took him to a musical, Percy Jackson. Colin really likes Percy Jackson. It's like a special thing to him. He's watched all the movies. He listens to the audiobook while he mows, which is to say like again and again and again, and he's a big fan. Well, Percy Jackson, the musical, was in like our Durham Center of Arts or whatever it's called. So it was like, it's like the good place where the good musicals are. And his two parkour coaches are also really into Percy Jackson. They're like at the right age where it hit them, like maybe Harry Potter for the people just, you know, a few years older than them. And Hope is really into it. My wife is really into it. So we brought Hope and two sororities, and we had this big party. It was
nice.
Such a great, like, Colin was so happy. The whole, like, his whole little world was there, and it was the musical. It was Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, and it was a really cool thing. And I was going to skip it so that, you know, I wouldn't, like, ask to reschedule the show. And Jackie's like, just ask. Just ask. They probably don't even care. And so I asked, and we moved it a day. And
yeah, of course. That would have been so funny though, as a joke. And you're like, "Hey, I want to spend time with my son and have a really wholesome time with my family." And we're like, "No, I want to do it Tuesday because Wednesday I also have nothing going on." But
yeah, your message was so heartfelt too. You were like, "I mentioned to Colin that I couldn't make it to his special day, and he was just so bummed out."
I wanted to be like, "Tell Colin Taylor says have a lot of fun, man. Like, don't be down on."
I forgot what I even put in there. I'm like, break it up. But yeah, I try not to move the shows. Like I try to hit it whenever I can, and like even when I have like I go to an SIV thing in California, like I get there in time so that I can dial into the hotel, and we do it on the regular time. But this was a one where it wouldn't be possible to like. That it was so long. We left at 5 and we finished at like 11 p.m. And so I had to do a whole different night. Anyway, thanks everyone for working with me.
I'm glad he had fun.
He's a big deal.
15 now?
He's yes, but he'll be 16 this month.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so in about two weeks ish, he'll turn 16.
Nice. God,
damn.
I remember when he was just a little tiny.
Right? Remember when I just put him in Mandels, which apparently is a form of child abuse, and we tried to take out that damn tree, but
oh well. The Mandels weren't child abuse, but the Mandels in the axe.
How many years ago was that now?
The tree thing? Oh, God.
Like the axe, the foot axe thing.
So I know that he was 12, so it would have been roughly 4-ish.
God, that seems like last year.
That's so long ago now. It's so weird.
Maybe he was 13, but yeah, it was a while ago.
God, that was scary.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. And by the way, he was not in Mandels. That was a joke, everyone. He was in like real work boots, but they weren't steel-toed work boots, which I now see as a mistake. But he was in, you know, if you can just picture like that yellow leather work boot, you know, thing that you might wear.
And you don't have to worry about it anymore. Woody got him a chainsaw.
Yeah,
so no more accidents.
Not he won't be hitting his axe with a foot. I'm sorry, his foot with an axe. So
you guys, I'm sorry. Go ahead if you had more.
Nah, I think I was just about to repeat myself. Carry on.
I watched this thing on Netflix that I've always like skipped over because it looked dumb. Called I think Dale and Tucker versus Evil.
I've seen it.
I've heard of
Tucker
it.
and Dale versus Evil or something. Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's a funny movie, dude.
It's
hilarious. I skipped over it a long time too because it's been on Netflix. I feel like. So like if there was like Iron Man streaks in sports, whoever stays on there the longest, I feel like Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is the current reigning Iron Man champion of Netflix because it's been on there for years. I skipped it because the name is so goddamn dumb.
Yeah,
and eventually I just put it on the background. Absolutely hilarious.
So Woody, it's basically like I don't know if you've ever seen or aware of the genre of movies like Wrong Turn, where like some like well-to-do college kids take a wrong turn.
Oh,
they end up
sure.
The hillbillies get them.
But they're usually kind of scary-ish. Right, and maybe into the wrong part of the city.
Yeah.
Like the hills have eyes, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like inbred hillbillies get them. That's the theme of these movies. It's like don't go out into the woods of West Virginia because the folk there don't take kindly to you and they'll rape and murder you. Well, this is that flipped on its head. So the college kids go out there, and Tucker and Dale are the hillbillies, but they're just nice guys. They're real sweet fellas, but they look weird. And through like happenstance, they keep ending up in these like weird scenarios where they look deranged to these college kids, and the college kids get it in their head that these are those wrong turn, inbred, murderous hillbillies, and they start trying to defend themselves. But every time they try to defend themselves, they accidentally kill themselves. But nobody sees the accident happen. So like Tucker and Dale are like, I don't know, that college kid just run and jumped head first in the wood chipper, Dale. I don't.
And they're just terrified. What kind of people are we dealing with out here, Tucker? I don't, like they won't spoil much because it's like in the very beginning, like when they first see the college kids stop at a gas station, and like you see the two creepy looking bumpkin guys, but then it goes over, it kind of like glancing their way at the girls and everything, but then it goes to their conversation, and the fat one's like, Tucker, I'm terrified of women. I don't know what I should do. Like, I try to go up to them and talk sometimes, and it just never works out. And man, I'm never going to find someone. Is like the other bumpkin's like, no, that ain't true. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to stand up, be confident, and you're going to walk right over there and introduce yourself to her. You're going to be charming and friendly, and she'll enjoy it. He's like, I'll do my best. And so he goes over there.
And just remember, smile and laugh.
Yes.
All right?
Smile and laugh. And he goes over there and he's so nervous. He's just this giant burly guy, just like a creepy ass smile, like what's your just, and they get back in the car horrified. He's like, now see, you didn't do it well, but the first step is something. Do you feel better? He's like, you know what? Actually, I do kind of feel a little better. I feel more confident. He's like, now you're one step of the way. So it's like a wholesome thing for these bumpkins.
Yeah.
And these kids are terrified of them the whole time.
That's fun.
It's actually pretty fucking good. I watched it a couple hours ago and just genuinely thought it was hilarious. It was really good.
Yeah. I watched Airplane again
the
a couple
old
nights
movie?
ago. The old movie.
How's it holding up?
Oh, hysterical. Like my girlfriend had never seen it, and I've been showing her like comedy movies that I always get a hoot or get a kick out of, like Animal House, fucking Airplane. What was that? Old School with Will Ferrell. That was the last Will Ferrell. Oh, no, that's not fair. He's made a ton of hilarious movies, but I think of all the Will Ferrell movies, I laughed the hardest at him in Old School.
That's his best. That's his best ever. I did the same thing and watched that with someone who'd never seen it a few months ago, and they loved it. Yeah, Old School is amazing.
Old School is really, really good. I have a soft spot. Is the whole movie called Elf? Is that just the word? Elf?
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Elf is so good to me. And in
Elf
particular,
is good.
That snowball fight scene. Sometimes I watch it just for inspiration. They're hunkered down behind the rocks. The kid's scared to death. He doesn't even want to fight. And the guy, Elf, I think I could take him. And it turns out snowball fighting is a superpower of his. And it's like paintballs, like it's ropes of them. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been his only activity his whole life. And so he just goes out there and it's just, frozen rope.
Yeah. I like Elf. That's my thing.
Yeah, Elf was a good one too.
Taylor,
I was going to say, I heard that Sherlock Holmes movie that he and John C. Reilly made was a real stinker.
It did look like a bit of a stinker.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I know you don't watch trailers though.
Something about comedians. There aren't many that stay peak funny for very long. That peak of theirs is not a bell curve; it's an angle. It's
about writing too. They got to pick the right project. Like DiCaprio, we always talk about. It's like it seems like every time he picks one to do, it's either does he make it amazing or does he just pick the really amazing ones? Like how many has he thrown away that were still great, but he was just like, I was a little iffy on that one.
I usually single out.
Might not have been great. I didn't want to take it.
I think you're right. I single out Tom Hanks for the same thing. Like I feel like he doesn't take a project unless it's really good.
Yeah, I watched.
You know who will take any project?
Oh, the motherfucker guy.
Jackson.
Yeah.
If I had my fucking little cousin's birthday party at my house, I could hire him to MC. He would show up. And I like that about him. He has no qualms with being in terrible movies. Do you think that he thought Snakes on a Plane was going to be good? No, he's Sammy J. He's like, that's another $4 million in my bank account. Hell yeah. Respect.
Different people are wired different ways. If I had Samuel L. Jackson money, which I assume is quite high, I mean, the Avengers are big hits. He's got a. I don't know that I just work as hard as he does. I bet he does these roles without working that hard. Like, have you guys ever memorized lines, even a couple, like a paragraph or two?
Yeah.
I find it difficult.
School plays.
If you want, well, you might be more experienced than me if you were in a play. But I've had situations. Kitty gave me one where I think we was like promoting a charity or something, and I had to get like 2 paragraphs of lines right. It was very difficult for me. So what actors do is just complete magic. But I bet Samuel Jackson somehow, it's not that hard for him. He can like show up unprepared and hit a home run somehow.
God,
was it that Marlon Brando
hurricane victims?
Oh. Go ahead.
Was it that thing, hurricane victims?
Hurricane victims?
The charity.
Oh, I think it was actually.
Yeah. Oh, I felt like I was given more lines than anybody. I hated that. I just remember me and
Were the lines different?
Yeah, we all had different things. Like I remember me and X-Jaws filming each other in my yard. He was staying with me at the time, and just being. I filmed his real quick, and I was like, "You had a sentence. All you had was a sentence. You're like, hurricanes are bad. Fuck them." and then it's my turn, and I'm just like, in the beginning of time.
Mine was long by my standards, and then White Boys. So here's it. So to set the table a little bit,
I don't remember what he did.
I'm not a big. I guess I'm envy, but not in like a super negative way, but I'm envious of all the success White Boy's having, right? The guy makes a vlog like videotaping his like feet as he walks to Target, and it's a big hit. Everyone loves it. And she gave us all this task to do. And I did take after take after take until I really felt like I had like professionally executed my lines. It sounds like Kyle did too. And then White Boy was drunk. Super drunk.
He was
fucked up.
White Boy was
well, look, I could be wrong. I thought he was drunk, and I remember him even like spitting, which I think is a drinking thing, but I'm not positive. So White Boy was on something, and he did what a Hollywood person might think is a really bad job, but it was magic in its own way. It was hilarious, and
it couldn't be used.
No, it was used. She took the rest of us, like wrapped it all together into like a decent video. White Boy got a solo upload. But
it was jam him.
I remember it being magic, but a different kind of magic. And I'm like, this guy put in no effort. It was like first take, don't know my lines, things. I don't.
He gave up halfway through. He's standing in front of the camera. First of all, he's holding a laptop, reading his lines. Right? We all memorized our lines. He's like, and he'll look at it and then he'll deliver it with vigor. He'll be like, "Hurricane blah 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 has hurt a lot of people, and that is bad." And like he gets like halfway through it in his pajamas or whatever, and he's just like, I don't know. I hope that's good enough. There you go." That's it. And it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe he did that. It was ridiculous. It couldn't be used. I mean, she uploaded it, but again, it was an upload to like mock him for doing such a bad job.
Speaking of like actors who don't memorize lines, did you ever hear the thing about, I think it was The Godfather, when Marlon Brando was all made up? He was such a big star that he was just like, I'm not going to memorize my lines. So whoever I'm talking to is going to wear a placard with my lines on them. And so if you rewatch The Godfather, you'll see him like, "You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding," like looking up and down at lines throughout it. And he was such a big pull that they're like, well, he says he's not going to do any memorizing, and he's the biggest star on earth, so we're going to have to bend over and let him do it.
Yeah, that wasn't just The Godfather either. That was his thing.
Really? I thought it was a one-off once he got big that he did that.
No. In what is it, a train card called Desire or whatever it is? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that man never memorized his lines. He's always reading them off a fucking card or something, and somehow he delivers them well. He's an amazing actor. In The Island of Dr. Moreau, it's same thing. Like you can see him kind of looking over there at the lines. And in Apocalypse Now, he's supposed to be a Marine colonel who's gone rogue and gone into Laos to run a campaign of terror against the enemy, right? A badass special forces type commando motherfucker. He comes to the shoot 350 pounds. and they're just like, the fuck, Marlon? You promised you'd come in here fit. I'll fit. And so they dress him in all black with a black hat, and they film him in shadows, literally dark of night with a flame burning next to him, and he delivers his line in the night. And that's it.
What a badass. That's cool.
It's cool. It's badass. It's amazing. It's unfair, though. It's definitely also unfair. How, like, some people work so hard and just put all their effort into it. And then there's Marlon Brando, who waddles up into the darkness and reads a placard off his co-host's chest. And they're like,
it was probably written in glow in the like
50 years from now, people will be raving about my skill when all I'm doing is jutting out my lower jaw. Anyone can do this impression.
I probably can. Dude, so
20 minutes and you'll get it down.
Taylor talked about how he does impression practice in his car, right? And there are times when I have something I want to say in an impression. Like I think I have gold, but my impressions suck. So I've started working on my impressions in my alone time, right? I'll be like in the bathroom,
it's fun, right?
in a car. It's funny because I haven't improved at all. I am still out there like, this is my Irish accent. Fuck! Like, it's exactly what it's like. I don't know if I'll ever improve at this, but I have been working at it off camera.
There are YouTube
like
videos
I've been working on my Matthew McConaughey, or no, my Owen Wilson wow recently. Trying to get like the wow.
It's pretty good. Oh,
man, did you know that these Lincolns drove so well? Wow.
I was working. Taylor does an African accent.
Oh fuck!
I've been the ones that come up most, like Owen Wilson. Wow, that's not going to be a tent pole impression. So Woody, you work on the extras later. Let's get Muganda, Conor McGregor. Like hit the big ones first. Don't do the offshoots. Yeah. And
I want to get all the Simpsons characters, but I stopped watching the Simpsons for a couple of weeks, so I got to start watching again.
So far, I have none.
They're hard.
Yeah, you should. I was in the shower this weekend talking about toilet paper in my Indian accent. Not good. Not good at all. It was bad. Maybe in time. I don't know.
This is even worse than my hand.
Taylor, you said you had a topic up my alley, yes. but people don't know. Sometimes we have a topic, but we don't want to like ruin the magic of it. So I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. So I was tweeting the other day asking for yard and lawn care advice because the person who had my house before me did not give a fuck and didn't care about the lawn and let it go to shit, where there's just like big areas where it's just dirt and just shitty looking, and then a bunch of uneven stuff. The amount of moles and voles or whatever the hell that I have is ridiculous. So I've been, taking care of that. But I need to start remedying it, and I want to like flatten my yard, get it nice and good. And the number one response to the tweet, other than one guy, one champion being like, actually, I'm studying landscaping and herbatology or something like that. And I was like, that's dope. I'm going to DM you and
Potter thing.
Okay, well then grassology, whatever the one is about,
that's what it is.
Turfology. I don't know. And I was like, that favoriting that guy is going to be useful if I need any help. But the number one response was, dude, you do a podcast with Woody, bruh. Like just ask him. And so I wanted to know any little tips or tricks you have for
so overvaluing my actual input. What I do well is mow a giant field. It is not a golf course. It's not as level as I'd like it to be. I dethatch it every year, and it comes up kind of green. If I didn't mow it, I think that it would be all different heights. I'm sorry that I can't help you. I don't even think I have what people would consider grass. It's like one of those other short green plants all over the yard. Yeah, so it's a field. It's a pasture that I mow, kind of. So I'm sorry I'm not more help.
Oh, it's okay. I just got off Amazon one of those aerators, like the manual ones that you push and it kind of
like
tears
plugs,
up
makes the plugs and stuff.
Yeah, it makes all those. So I'll probably after this I'm watching the playoff game, but this weekend I'm going to go through and do that. And I wanted to just get it done quickly, and I thought, oh, you just put seed down on the ground and then grass grows. How fucking hard can this be? So I went and wasted like $30 at Home Depot and just spread a bunch of seed around. And then I Googled, and it was like, well, actually, you're not going to want to do that. It's not going to do anything.
Certainly not in the spring. Yeah.
No, certainly not. There's like a few tufts that have worked, but that's it. And so I'm planning on getting peat or whatever the fuck the fertilizer thing is, and you like dump out little bits of that and spread it around, even it on that area after you've tilled it, and then you throw the grass seed around. And so hopefully I won't have a totally shit lawn. It's really my backyard that they fucking ruined. Like my front yard isn't.
Are there
that
trees
bad.
Back there?
Yeah. I back up to a decent wooded area, so there's quite a few trees.
You might be playing on veteran mode if that thing is, if there's trees and roots in the area that they could be sucking up. It could be hard to grow good grass there.
Okay, that makes
you might
sense.
consider
Maybe I'll
mulching
just pave it all over.
That trees wouldn't
Just
love that.
That's what I did. Well, the HOA hated it, but I cut down all the trees and I paved my backyard into a street hockey rink.
If the grass can't, I don't see it, right? But if the grass is not growing because the trees are in that area and everything, you might want to mulch it and just go with that instead of grass that struggle to grow.
That might be it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I remember when I lived in Apex, we had an area, it was kind of on an incline, so it was hard to keep watered effectively. And I was like, I am going to finally tackle this thing. So I go out there with hand tools, the rake with the hard edges, and I effectively till it with a rake, and I'm busting my ass. And then after I do that, I got directions. I forget what they were now, but it was like, you lay the grass, you lay the lime, you lay the this, you lay the fertilizer, you put the hay on it, so it's all there. Then you water it and you water it. And I did what I thought everything right. You know what grew? Hay. I grew hay on that fucking thing. I was like, the fuck? It's like 18 inches tall and like
you grew fescue.
Fescue
ryegrass or something.
Yeah, like I think the hay had like seeds in it or something.
Yeah, it is. It's grass.
It's not what I was going for.
Well, I've been looking into a Kentucky bluegrass.
Remember, Hank did that one time. He did his whole lawn of Kentucky bluegrass. I think then he got the fire ants, and they ruined it.
Yeah, then he had to.
I got a bit of a topic or a story. I was at where is it? Maybe Kroger, and we've got a huge Kroger here, grocery store, and they have really great food selection. I love this store, and I was stocking up on some great stuff, getting some lamb and get some steaks and some crab legs, and just filling the refrigerator up for this week. And I'm in an aisle trying to get some wax paper or something for my sliders, and this black gentleman is wheeling toward me in his electric wheelchair, and so I get my completely out of his way. I sort of slide it all the way. Is he old? No, I would say he's maybe 7 years older than me. So I would say no, he's thin.
He's got like a handicap or something. Okay. Clearly,
yeah. And he wheels up and he goes, "How tall are you?" And I don't know, probably 6'1" in these shoes, man. Maybe 6'2" on a good day. He's like, "No, you look tall. You got to be at least 6'4". And I was like, "No, nowhere near that. No, not at all. But thank you though. I guess I appreciate. I wanted to be like, well, from down there, I suppose appearances can be deceiving. I suppose we all look like we're towering over you when you're wheeling around that.
That's chair. A good bit. A handicapped black guy who thinks everyone's 6'4". Man, how tall are you? I'm 5'4". Nah, you got a whole head taller than me. That's 6'4". And that gentleman over there, head taller than you, he's at least 6'4".
Must be 8 feet tall. Goliath-looking motherfucker.
That Robert Wadlow kid.
Yeah. I was just like, no. He's like, you look familiar. I know you. How do I know you? And I was like, I don't know. I've made some YouTube videos. I done a little bit of that. What kind? And I'm just like, I really just want to get this wax paper, man. A little bit of everything. Some gun stuff. What's it called? We're having this long conversation, and I'm being polite and everything, and someone else is kind of coming through, so I have to move to get out of the way. So I'm just like, well, I'll see you around, man. Nice speaking to you. And so I walk one way, and he wheels the other, but he catches me again in the meat aisle, and he's just like, where are you from? And I was just like, I was like, Franklin County. He's like, Livonia? And I was like, yeah, that's how I know you. Look at this. And he like shows me his arm, and he's got some tattoos, but tattoos don't really work well on black people. So I'm just like, I can't tell. What is that? And he goes, the hair on my arm just stood up when you said that. And I was just like, okay, all right. He's like, yeah, I'm from Livonia too. That's how I know you. And he tells me where he worked and what he did and some of the people that we know in common and everything. And he was like, I was in the Marine Corps. He was like, that's how I got in this damn chair. Got blown up. I was like, oh shit, that's fucked, man. You know, I was like, where? Iraq, Afghanistan? He's like, Iraq. I was like, we should have been over there anyway. Those damn politicians. He's like, that's right. But when they take you go, you go. And I was like, yeah, that's fucked, man. I was like, what happened? He's like, lost both knees. They had to be replaced. Both hips had to be replaced. And you see this right here? And he had a scar on his nose. And it wasn't a disfigured scar. And I'm of the opinion that black people scar better than white people. I feel like light gray on brown is as bad as like the red on pink that we get.
And if I see a bad scar on a forearm, I think it looks bad. If like some facial scars though look badass.
It wasn't that bad.
Cool. Facial scar, especially you're doing a diagonal, was a little bit of his eyebrow chopped in half because that would have been cool as fuck.
No, it was like right on the bridge of his nose. He had this scar, and he was like, You see this? And I'm like, yeah. He says, that's where it went in. And he takes his hat off and he leans his head down. There's a hole in the back of his skull about the size of a nickel. And I'm like, how did you survive that? He's like, I don't know. They said it rode along my skull and missed most of the brain and came out back there. And I was like, fuck. Well, thank you for your service. Now I can't walk away.
Is there something I can grab for you?
Yeah.
Now that's coming. Now, not only are we like hometown buddies, and he wasn't making it up because he knew Livonia. Like nobody else knows Livonia, that tiny little fucking town that I'm from. And he's got the hole in his head and everything, and he's just fucking telling me the Marine Corps motto and all nonsense. Just like, well, thank you for your service. He's like, listen, and look, you can say no. I'll give you my Marine Corps, I'll give you my military ID, and you can hang to collateral or whatever. He's like, I got a friend coming, he'll be here in half an hour. And I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but he smelled like death. He smelled real bad. He had a stink on him.
Just BO.
No.
Or like filth kind of thing.
Filth.
Not poop, though.
He said, I was wondering if you could help me buy some Depends.
Oh, poor dude.
And I was like, hell yeah. I can absolutely buy you some Depends. You grab them and throw the cart, man, and I'm gonna be, I got to grab some buttermilk and some bacon, and then I'm getting out of here, and I'll take care of that. He's like, yeah, and I could also use a little money to go wash these clothes. I got another change of clothes here, and my friend's gonna pick me up in a couple hours. I'd like to be clean when he gets here. He's like, I got a catheter. I gotta shove it up in there. He's like, I got no control over when I go to the bathroom.
Oh.
He's like, are you cool with and before this, he'd been like, are you before he asked me any of this, he was like, so you cool with black people? And I was just like, yeah, I'm cool with black people. Of course. I've been having this 10-minute conversation with you and I haven't rebuffed you and ran away to get my buttermilk yet. So I guess I'm pretty fucking cool with black people because I'm still here. And he's all right. So we're wheeling along, and he's telling me about this catheter, and I'm just wanting to get to the ATM. And he's like, "What was that? What was the videos you did again? I'm gonna punch it in here." And I'm like, I told him, and I'm like, he's like punching it in. I'm like, I'm gonna go get you some cash, and you just wait right here, and I'm gonna go get the money.
It was more worthwhile for you to go get money for him than stand there while your videos are playing.
I was gone before he knew what happened. I was in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Get your own Depends, dickhead.
I went immediately to security and I said, there's a homeless man who shot himself back there, and he is getting in the way.
He's accosted me.
He has accosted me, and I am here to buy some very expensive groceries, 2, maybe 300.
Oh, you just froze for me.
Yeah, hope not.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah. So I went and got him fucking $20 and gave him the fucking money, and then we parted ways. I was so afraid that he wanted to ride somewhere, and because I was gonna have to say no. I could not let that man. I had stuff to do. And
I also don't know how you get an electric wheelchair in a Camaro.
I don't either.
I don't drag it behind.
I've got the door open, and
and you leave him in it, and so you don't stink your car up. She's just like,
brilliant.
Slow down. You're flying. Man, that's really uncomfortable. But also, did you feel a little good about yourself, given the homeless, poop-covered man? I assume homeless. I don't. Maybe that's wrong.
It was hard to tell. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. He looked fairly okay. Yeah, he could have been homeless. I suppose that's possible.
Dude, if you get crippled, like both your knees gone, both your hips gone, both your ankles gone, and like there's a bullet right in your skull that goes out the back of your head, the government should have to like just put you up for the rest of your life at one of the resorts at Epcot.
He was like, they still fucking with me about my disability. And if you miss one of their scheduled appointments, they cut you off, and they assume you're no longer after it. But I make all my appointments. Been 5 years now. Been 5 years. I'm trying to get my money. And I was like, fuck. Well, let's get you some diapers and let's get me the fuck out of here, because you are really a downer, my friend.
That's fucking sad. And that's so true. Like, those guys go through hell to get anything. Like a buddy of mine who has to work with the VA all the time for his health stuff always is like, oh yeah, I got to go in for this. And I'm like, oh, are you going to probably get it? And he's like, no, they probably won't give it to me. They'll probably say that I don't actually warrant it, or that my PTSD isn't that bad, or, oh, you're not trying hard enough to sleep, drink some chamomile, or that kind of shit. They really run veterans through the ringer. It's
I don't know what it is about me that attracts homeless. This is not my only homeless story today. I mentioned the gas station homeless that did not thank me a while back.
Yes.
I stopped at the exact same gas station. I was once again going to pick some friends up. And once again, it's midnight and I'm in my car. I stop and I'm getting my gas, and I have the gasoline. I'm leaving. I've made it. All right. I saw him looking at me, and he's flagging me down. He's
Same
right
guy?
next. No, whole new guy. This is a whole new homeless black man, and he's waving at me with both arms, smiling. And I'm just like, okay. I stop and I roll the window down. We're in the parking lot of the gas station. He's like, first of all, that's a nice color you picked. Second of all, the air in your tires is a little low. You're going to get that checked. And third of all, I ain't no beggar, but I could use whatever you can give. I just got out the pen. I've been in since 96.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm doing some quick math in my head, and I'm just like, fuck! All right? You killed someone.
Dude, yeah, there's barely internet in 96.
Yeah. How many rapes were there, Dante? Like, god damn. You did, it's like 15 or, I don't even know. It's a long fucking time.
You can't calculate that.
23 years or something.
Calculate.
It's way too,
trying to get
you can't even figure that out.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no math for that.
Incalculable.
It sounds dumb when you say it.
So, no, that sucks. Well, it could probably kill somebody. So.
And I was just like, that's rough, man. God damn. He's like, can you spare something? And I'm like, look, I got somewhere to be. And I mean, like, I really didn't have time to stop for this gasoline. I'm in a hurry. I don't have any cash. He's like, change will do. And so I start picking through I never use my change. So I've got a bucket full of quarters in my console, and I'm just getting them out. I give him like a fistful of quarters, and then I'm like, hey man, it's tough, rough all over. I tell him about my legal troubles. He starts giving me like legal advice. He's like, if they mess up this or that, you good. And if this and that happen, you good. And hey, about them sentences, first 6 months don't even count. That's a halfway house type scenario. And I'm just like, dude, if you were the person to ask him this sort of thing, I don't think you'd have done 23 years. Yeah. Although maybe he did 23 years on like a quadruple murder, right? He's like, trust me, I killed them all.
And if they can't even find the bitch's head, they can't.
If she can't
if there is no
they must
head,
have quit.
Rest in bed. Yes. So that's 3 homeless African-American men in like the last month, I would say, who have singled me out and come for me. I don't know. Like,
you have a kind face.
He has a little bit of homeless nip in his pocket, like catnip.
It's something like that. Like I don't know if like my car is nicely washed, and I'm wearing a button down and a nice jacket and like dress pants and nice shoes. Like I don't know if that's maybe I should dress more raggedy when I go out. Like just wear like a t-shirt or something and some sneakers. I don't know what's going on.
Works for me.
Definitely
raggedy as fuck. Homeless people, they hand me money. Like, you look down.
I was watching.
What are you sitting there having a cup of coffee and they're like, God bless, big man. Keep your chin up. He's like, the fuck?
It's like in Half Baked where that Dave Chappelle's taking that woman on a date when he's got $8 and he's got 16 cents going to the ice cream place, and the veteran's like, change for a meal? And Chappelle's like, don't mind if I do. And takes like $4 out, and then he can finish his date. That movie's so good.
We went to the musical last night, and it was time to pay for parking. So I wanted to hit the ATM machine. It was literally broken, and I find myself with no cash. So I go and I get 250s from the stash. And when we go to pay for parking, the person is like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry to do this to you. All I have is a 50. And my wife's checking. She doesn't have anything. So she goes, oh, you only have 50s? Well, then you park for free. And I'm like, what? How can that be? And she says, yeah, they don't let us carry 50s or 100s. I could break it, but I'm not allowed. So park for free. And it's like, what kind of system is this?
The rich get richer. It's the Reagan system of parking.
and yeah, I thought there'd be a catch. I don't know why. Like, I go in the parking deck, up the set. I'm convinced there's going to be someone around the first turn. Like, aha, no, we can break it up here. But no, yeah, I parked for free, left, everything. That's how it works.
I'll keep that
never heard of that before.
Me neither.
Very big bills.
I would think they just send you away.
That's not what they did. Yeah.
Dairy Queen is 2 miles away. Have yourself a cone and come back and pay for your parking.
Right? But no, I parked for free.
Yeah, that worked out.
Oh.
Nice.
Well, hockey playoffs are here. I'm just raring to talk about that. It's been on my mind. It's all I've been thinking about.
I mean, you've got your Hawks jersey on right now, repping. You know, they're not in the playoffs, but next year, man, maybe.
Taylor.
I got my Golden Knights gear in the other room. I'll strap it on. You know, I'm ready to go. I'm prepared in these circumstances.
Who are you pulling for? Kyle?
Golden Knights, I guess. I've got a friend who's a Golden Knights fan. I guess I should pull for the Blues, though, right? They're kind of the come from behind team. It would seem
they are.
That like you didn't think they would make the playoffs, and if they did, it was going to be a big mistake for them too. You know, because of the draft picks and everything. So I guess they're the ones that I would hope would go far, or maybe even get in there.
You should hate the Winnipeg Jets who were playing, because the Winnipeg Jets are just the team that Atlanta became when they finally left.
I didn't know that.
The Canes, the Hurricanes, who I root for, and the Blues are both similar in that, at the All-Star break, halfway-ish point, they both look like loser teams that weren't going anywhere, that had serious flaws. And then somehow, in the second half of the season, they looked great. If the season were only second half long, I don't know that the Blues and the Canes would be such dark horses. They'd have a pretty strong second half season. So I like to think that's the only relevant way to measure a team. I'm doing this selectively and saying the second half is really the way you measure a team. And the Canes are darn good. Look out, Capitals. So we'll see.
Well, how many games is it?
82 is the season. Yeah.
That's less than I thought it was. That's a lot.
Basketball and hockey have the same amount, both 82, I believe.
Yeah.
And then baseball has 300 and football has like 16.
300, you say?
I don't know. Baseball has so many.
I think it might be 600.
I think it's 600. In my head, it's like
162 or something. That sounds right.
Yeah, 162 or something like that.
It's a lot, though.
It's a fucking lot. But baseball is not as strenuous in many, many ways. Basketball, they're up and down that court. Hockey, they're up and down the ice. Half the players in baseball never even jog in a game, right?
They're visibly overweight.
Sometimes.
All right. Some of them are. Like, first baseman.
Bartolo Colon. That guy looks like he should be taking your change at a toll booth.
I like that about baseball players. It's like, it doesn't matter if especially like I remember Roger Clemens, he was getting a little hefty there at the end, but it didn't matter. He could still throw the ball fucking 95 miles an hour or whatever. It didn't matter that he was maybe 30, 40 pounds overweight and that uniform was looking a little silly.
I'm pulling for, obviously, the Blues, number 1. Number 2, I think Tampa.
Oh, you can't give me 2. Carry on.
And Carolina would be number 3 for my top 3 hope they win picks. Carolina would be good because it would be my Carolina gets no attention ever. And so, like,
even
Carolina
here
went on an incredible tear, and everybody's like, wow, there's a team in in Carolina.
Yeah, they're in Raleigh. They're literally in Raleigh.
And they're good. They're really solid now. I think if you do what you said, Woody, and you start in like early January and you look at the records of teams, which that's not just your bias. Like most analysts will look at the second half of the season or like the last third to see how they're going into the playoffs. I think the Blues and the Hurricanes and Tampa are the three best teams. I know the number one team since January 3rd has been St. Louis. Number two has been Tampa. And it would not surprise me if Carolina was like neck and neck with them because they turned it around in a big way.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And the Flyers. The draft picks happened. How did the Flyers do? Do you know?
I don't know. I know number one is New Jersey. Number two is fucking Chicago. Or no, number one is New Jersey. Number two is New York Rangers. Number three is Chicago. Number four is Buffalo or some shit. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't really follow the draft very closely. I don't care until they're in the league. But here, like
Philadelphia's 11, so maybe we'll get someone.
Is hockey one of those things where the draft picks are real iffy? For example, like in baseball, you never know what you're getting, and a lot of times in baseball, they've got to stay down in the minors for not 1 year, but maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years to get really seasoned. They might come up to the majors for like a month. And they'll be like, "Whoa, you're batting 195, buddy. Let's send you back down to the Mudcats or whatever their farm team is." But in football, it almost seems like if you get like the Heisman Trophy running back, or you get like that Alabama like fullback or whatever, it's like, oh shit. Next year, this guy's going to be making plays and doing stuff.
Basketball can be like that too, where like they're just good at figuring out who will be good.
Hockey isn't like that as well. If you're picking a goalie, it can be totally up in the air because goalies are the iffiest position. Like they just don't pan out that often, so they don't get picked that high. Every once in a while, you get like a blue chip prospect like Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid, where with Connor McDavid, it was a foregone conclusion where it's like he's going to be the next Sidney Crosby, the next generational talent. Like, so they knew that. But then there's also guys like the guy that I made fun of for not knowing English well enough to even talk to a reporter after the Canada-Russia juniors game, Nail Yakupov. And Nail, like what you hammer into a board. Nail Yakupov, he was picked first overall by the Oilers in like 2012. And now he's playing in Russia because he was so bad. He never panned out. Teams kept giving him chances and he just sucked a dick. And so there's always a risk there. Like it's not known in the same way.
Yeah. It's interesting how that works. I'm always interested in professional athletes and anybody who's like an outlier in their field of athletic performance, whatever that may be. And like, I think the off field or whatever thing they compete in, the off field antics and stuff that really fuck a lot of people. Like they get that $500,000 payday or whatever they start at in baseball. I think we said it was $500,000.
Yeah,
and they're just like, thanks for life. Now I need a $250,000 car. Like, wait.
Yeah.
After taxes, I'm pretty sure you're broke now. Like, don't do it. Don't do it, Javi.
30 for 30 broke is amazing. If you guys have probably seen that, but I'm sure some of the listeners haven't seen 30 for 30 broke.
Oh, I've seen that.
Oh my gosh. And the way they outline where all the money goes, they're like, you get a $70 million contract. Suddenly you think you have $70 million. First of all, you don't. They don't actually pay you that. That's like what it could be if you break every record and get every accolade and win the, I don't know, Heisman, which is not a thing in pro sports. But anyway, so take that 70, you actually get 45. And then half that goes to taxes. And then, consider that like whatever, you're supposed to pay all your linemen for stuff. You're supposed $12,000 at restaurants to pay for team meals and this and that. And like before long, you can piss it all away. And your agent takes a big piece. One guy got divorced. Divorce is very expensive. And you can see what an unspendable amount of money, like $40 million, can be spent.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel if we're going to do a little bit of sports talk, I saw TJ Dillashaw, 2-year suspension, tested positive for EPO, which is blood doping. It's the Lance Armstrong thing. There's no possible. One of the things, Taylor, that mixed martial arts fighters will use as a defense is the tainted supplement defense. I ate kangaroo meat. It had testosterone in it. that made me test positive. That one I think is probably true. I use this GNC supplement. Their creatine is contaminated with turinabol. I'm tested positive. And it works sometimes. It'll certainly work to the extent that there may be a reduced sentence. We won't hit you as hard. We'll give you a bit of benefit of a doubt. TJ Dillashaw popped for EPO. The only way you get it is by injecting it. It is not cheap. It is not something amateurs do. It is professional cheating at high-end sports. It basically gives you more red blood cells. It lets your body. It gives you more oxygen. Much more endurance, much more ability to go, and you can definitely see where that would come in handy in fighting, where you see a lot of guys gas out in the later rounds. And
defense is better, your offense is better, your decision making is better, you're clear hearted. Because Joe Lozon used to say that you're like, think of Street Fighter, right? Where you've got that health meter and it goes down and down and down. But in Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or whatever, even when you're just a little sliver left of health, your character is still as good as he was at full health. But in real life, when you fall behind on the health meter because you took a couple hits, you also fall behind on like the speed and the talent and the power meter too. Everything gets wiped out. So once you're behind, you're stuck. If you have that kind of cardio, you can be a monster all the way through. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and you can go harder. You can go harder.
And in training.
Yeah, you can go a lot harder in the first. Oftentimes you see guys almost take the first round off and measure their opponent, which is a dual purpose thing. You're measuring your opponent. You're figuring out the reach of yourself and him. But also I'm sure it's because it's like, I got to go 5 rounds here potentially.
So Kyle's frozen, and you don't want to blow it in the first round.
Yeah.
So yeah, big deal. And like Kyle said, it's not a fluke. You don't get EPO through gas station dick pills like John Jones gets. Whatever.
No, there's no offense to this. And he's a champion for Taylor's benefit. He was the champs, and he just had a fight where he went down in weight to try to become like a double champ, which he lost. And now you got a guy like Cody Garbrandt, who I'm a big fan of, who's just like, dude, this guy beat my ass twice. He's fucking cheating, and not just cheating a little.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. Kyle, back me up if you know it too. He busted for EPO in his current thing, and then they went back and tested another one of his tests against Cody Garbrandt, and they found EPO in that too.
Fuck, I didn't know that.
Yes, I know for sure they found EPO in his blood test against Cody. I just don't know if the current one is also true. So Cody Garbrandt is like, what the heck, dude? Like, this guy was on performance-enhancing drugs when he took my title, or I didn't get the title. I guess it was the second one.
Took it.
Okay. Yes. So anyway, I think it's the second one though, where he tried to get it back, and he didn't. He failed to get it back, partly because TJ was on EPO, and it was like a widely known thing. TJ accused him of. Cody accused him of being on performance-enhancing drugs all the time in their pre-fight lead-up. He taught our whole gym how to use drugs.
He specifically said EPO in a tweet.
Yeah,
Cody was like, "Don't let all that EPO go to your head," or something like that. Mm-hmm. And sure enough,
years ago he said that.
Yeah.
Ago, like a while ago.
And to me, like that's proof enough for me that it's been EPO for 8 years or something with this guy. Easy.
It's proof that it's been at least EPO all this time. There are a lot of drugs that get out of your system in a hurry, and it could, he might be on a cocktail and just got busted for one.
It certainly looks like he's on more than EPO, because he has an incredible physique, the kind that like you see actors will occasionally get in for like 2 weeks so they can film something, and then they go back to being a normal human being. Like, he has a Bruce Lee like muscle definition. It's ridiculous.
So it's also 2-year suspension. Take that, burn it in. He's 33. So one might call this the end of his career. Is he going to come back after a 2-year layoff and be champ again? How hard is it going to be to give this guy even a championship shot? I guess they did it for John Jones, but in my head, they might say, dude, work your way up. Like, we don't want our champion to be coming off a drug suspension. That's not who we choose to be champ, so you need to earn your way. Woodley's another dude. Woodley, I heard Brendan Schwab talking about Woodley. And if people don't know, Tyrone Woodley fights at 170. Very good fighter. Kind of a bunch of boring fights that make Dana White mad. And Also very selective about who he fights, and that makes Dana White mad. Then he finally lost to Usman.
Yep.
And now they're talking about what they're going to do to make him go back. And it's interesting to me because I follow not just the fights, but like the whole scene and the drama and the contracts. He's fighting Robbie Lawler, who he already beat, but is very tough. And if he beats him again, like it doesn't really boost him up or anything. He's already kind of higher than him. They're going to give him the hardest road back ever, if they ever like give him a road back. And he's 37. 37. I did not know that. He looks so much younger. His physique is incredible.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he's going to have to fight for 2 years to get a title shot, and then he'll be 39 at 170. They just cooked him, dude. He's
I don't got. You know, I remember maybe like 2 months ago this came up, and I was like, I talked about how much I hate him, and how I wanted all these bad things to happen to him, and my dreams came true. My dreams came true.
Kyle,
you know,
you need to use that. You need to wield that power more responsibly.
Use
it for those homeless guys.
Oh man, I'm so happy that he's down and out. I found him to be so arrogant and such a piece of shit, and just so full of himself, and such a race card playing bigot. I just, there's nothing about him that I found to be redeemable. He's not an evil guy. I don't get that from him. It's just that he is not likable in the slightest. There's not a likable trait about him. I mean, he looks incredible. I find him to be one of the most hardworking guys in the game, but that's not enough for me personally. Like, you got to have a decent personality. It's not like we say this all the time. I'm not just rooting for the Broncos. I'm rooting for you in particular as a man or as a woman. And if I don't like you as a person, then all the other stuff doesn't matter to me as much. Like I like Rose Namajunas because I think she's a cool chick. I think I like her style. I like her personality. I really do like it. You know, I like
Did you
Conor
happen to see her win before she was in the UFC? Like Pat Barry's crying and they like film it to a. There's a vlog. It seems like you might not have seen it. It is so heartwarming. I think she hit the flying armbar like early in the fight. Dude, Rose Namajunas is easy to connect with, and she is very emotional, high and low, and she shares it with you, and I love that. I agree with everything Kyle said about Woodley, except for me personally. Sometimes he pays it back. Like, I think I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he seemed pretty insightful, and I liked it. But by and large, I'm like 3.5 or 4 out of 10 on that guy because it was more subtractions than additions.
Yeah, good riddance. Good riddance as far as because I don't want to see him fight. That's the other thing. Like, not only is it all that other stuff that I don't like about him, I don't enjoy watching him compete. I find his fights to be actually boring.
I didn't even enjoy watching him lose. He managed to make that not fun somehow. He just stood there and took body shots for 5 rounds. Very durable. Very impressive.
Took no chances. Like he could have exploded in the 4th when he knew he was down 3 rounds to none, or at least down 2 to 1. And he certainly could have exploded in the 5th round and started fighting. I know what Robbie Lawler would have done. He'd have fucking came to clean somebody's clock in the 5th round. He'd be like, it's all or nothing. I don't care if they knock me unconscious or if they destroy my face or if I blow out my knee or dislocate my arm. He'd have came to kill somebody. But Tyron Woodley's like, take as little damage as possible. Like, get out of here.
Ben Askren, who is his friend and training partner, said that like the way that he saw it was like one of the problems and one of the strengths with Tyrone is that he looks for the perfect shot. So he's not out there like, throwing it down like we like to watch. He's just looking for the perfect opportunity. 5 rounds goes by. He never sees a perfect opportunity. It's like he didn't throw a punch in 25 minutes. And that's what happened.
Max Holloway's the opposite. Max is like...
Kyle froze. I was like, he was responding my laugh weird.
Just all these weird angles. His punches it's not straight punches. It's not even just hooks. It's all of this. He's coming from 360 degrees around your face with all of these weird looping things where it seems like the punch isn't even a straight line. It'll like snake in. Like,
did you see him commentate his own fight with Brian Ortega? Oh, he's adopting the lingo now. He's like, look at that. That's a 4-piece. He's like, forget the soda. That's a big gulp right there. It's probably too much UFC talk, but there's a fight coming up this weekend. I think Saturday.
Yeah,
it's better than average.
It's Poirier and Max Holloway, right?
Yeah, and the undercard is good too. There's like 2 good fights on it. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I'm not aware of compete. And I think Poirier might just knock him fucking unconscious. I hope he doesn't. But Poirier definitely has the power to do it.
Oh, I think I'm gonna have it on my. This new UFC site is so slow, and I don't like it as much. Yeah, it's Kevin Gastelum and Israel Adesanya as the last fight.
Gastelum takes that. I was not impressed with Israel at all when he fought 43-year-old Anderson Silva. I thought that was and if he was holding, and people say, oh well, he was holding back because he loves that guy. Well, double fuck him then, because that's not what people were paying $65 to see. You fucking hero worship your buddy out there. No, we paid for blood. All right?
I'm gonna go with Israel wins in it. I think I said that wrong, but I'm gonna go with Israel winning it, just because it's 5'9" versus 6'4". That's gonna piece him up. We'll see.
Yeah, Kevin's got to close the distance. That's for sure. 9
inches of distance. He's got to. That's a lot. Also, if people don't know, if my arm's 9 inches longer than you, but I'm also like 6 inches taller, that counts more. Like it punching, getting to punch, just the height difference is worth 2 inches. So that Kevin's got a real challenge on his hands. We'll see.
Watch him wrestle. Fuck this fucking clown. I can't wait to see it. I didn't know that was a fight, but I'm jazzed to see it now. Especially after, first of all, Kevin showed up to that event wearing somebody else's fucking belt to try to pretend like he is the champ, you know, and everybody was making fun of him for that. And I shared their mockery. First of all, I could see him in the background of the cage standing. Those people behind him, I know what those tickets cost. They're $1,500 each. He's standing in front of somebody holding his fucking belt. All right. It's not even your belt. Sit the fuck down. They paid at least $1,500, maybe $2,000 for that chair behind you. And I don't like Kevin either. I just think he's going to win the fight.
Kelvin. But I hear you.
Yes,
Kelvin. Yeah. That's a weird name.
It's a stupid name, yeah.
You know what? I'm rooting against him.
Well, there you go.
The other guy's name is Israel Adesanya.
Oh, a battle of ridiculous names.
Adesanya is right. I for some reason I run through it in my head like Alessandra or something like that, but I've got the letters in front of me right now. Adesanya. I try to burn it in. So anyway, 2 good fights. This is a thing that UFC's been doing a little bit. Like, you think it's a super card, but they used to do like with McGregor cards. Dude, 5 amazing fights on the main card. And then the prelims would be good. And then even the fight night pass stuff is amazing. And just like, oh my God, everyone who's anyone wants to be on that McGregor card. It's stacked from top to bottom. Fights you care about aren't even in the last 5. Now they put 2 on the top and you're like, oh yeah, it's going to be another one. And then the third fight, like, I read about this every day and I don't know that guy's name.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
We'll see. That's how they get. Maybe somebody will prove themselves. I know that happened maybe a couple cards ago, and yet still, like, the whole card was like KOs. Like maybe the Till card or something like that. Like everybody got knocked the fuck out that night, and it was a fun 5 fights.
Sure. Yeah, it is. I can tell you whether I'll care about the fight beforehand, but it is really difficult to predict if the card will be fun to watch or not. You know, you get 2 guys who always bang, never fail to deliver, and then they just wrestle. You know, Koscheck versus GSP, matching of the greatest wrestlers in UFC history. They just sit there and ineffectively jab for 5 rounds. It happens. So anyway. Yeah. Oh, I have a boat update. Remember I bought this boat for paramotoring? Not like
timeshare boat. Yeah.
Yes, the timeshare boat. Super fast for people don't know. Boats are expensive to own. I'm one of 17 people splitting the costs on this thing. And the idea is I tow myself up on the paraglider over a lake and then learn new things in the safety of the water landing. So that's the thought. Today, 2 or 3 guys took our boat out just because the weather was good and they lived nearby and like all is well. For a beat, I was like jealous I wasn't there. But you know what? It's a shakedown run. Knock yourself out. I don't have to be on every trip. It's ruined. All fucking ready. The whole engine is trapped. We need a new engine for our boat. I don't know how many thousands this is, but I'm grateful that it's split 17 ways. They show me pictures. There's like black oil dripping from under it. Apparently the seller lied to us because there was more work done to it than he let on. I don't know. But like, I'm just like, get it moved. Like, it's sitting at a marina with a mechanic right now. Tell that mechanic to do what it takes to make the boat good, because I want to make some bad decisions this summer. Yeah. So,
well, at least you're sharing the grief with, you know, 12.5 other people.
Yeah. Some guys in the group can pay, like, let's say it costs $4,000. Some guys can pay a 17th of that, and it's cool. Other people, I think, are kind of scratching. There were guys who were like, really? Yeah, if the buy-in to this is $1,500, I'm okay. If the buy-in is $1,700, I'm out. And I'm like, I take that to mean that
then you shouldn't be in. then you can't afford the
boat. Maybe boat ownership isn't right for you. I don't know. We'll see. But like, I hope it's not down too long. I'm halfway cracking up over here about it, but I owe 1/17 of a new engine, so that's a thing. Bust out another 1,000. Thankfully it's only bust out 1/17 of 1,000, which is incalculable.
Yep. That is incalculable. You can't know. That's like asking how old is someone from 96 to 2019. You don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
You don't know. All the numbers reset in 2000 to Y2K, and so it's a grab bag. You don't know what
yeah. So anyway,
so here's my picks real quick for anybody out there. If you're making a bracket and you want to know who not to pick, because I'm notoriously bad at these. First round, I've got Calgary over Colorado. Vegas over San Jose, Nashville over Dallas, St. Louis over Winnipeg, Tampa over Columbus, Boston over Toronto, Washington over Carolina, Pittsburgh over the Islanders, and in round 2 I've got Calgary over the Knights, St. Louis over Nashville, Tampa over Boston, and Pittsburgh over Washington. And then conference finals, I've got St. Louis over Calgary, Tampa over Pittsburgh, and then Stanley Cup final, I got the Blues over Tampa. So this is an obvious, honest bracket, not a homer bracket whatsoever.
Taylor picked the Canes to get knocked out in the first round. I am choosing the Blues to forfeit and the Flyers to take their spot in the first round.
Well, the Enterprise Center collapses, and both Winnipeg and St. Louis are eliminated.
Yeah, and the Flyers volunteer, and for some reason the league agrees.
That'd be so funny. It's like, well, by the Air Bud rules of the NHL, the Flyers get in now. Yeah. You guys got to get on there and start doing it.
Yeah, so we're going to do a bracket here, I guess. So, Taylor, you had to create an account on this website first?
Yeah, I just made an account, just a bogus email account.
Maybe we should. Bogus email. I think I'm going to do it. Oh, the show's...
Oh, I didn't want him to send stuff to me on a real one. And or I guess I just used one of my whatever the fuck accounts.
I'll make it later. I've got it on my screen. So, call it a wrap.
All right, is that PKN? Yeah.
PKN 242. Probably.
All right.